Welcome back to another episode of I Can Do This All Day. I'm Dan, the part-time Avenger. With me is Mark, the resident Jedi.
Hello there. We're going to keep with our comic book theme that we've had semi-recently, and we're going to explore a side of comics that we've ignored as of recently for good reason. And that is the DC universe. There have been some new announcements and peeks into the future that have come via Mr. James Gunn, and we have thoughts, don't we?
I guess we can say that we have thoughts on it. I think we have some strong thoughts on the DCEU movies and TV shows that preceded the James Gunn announcement, but we will talk a little bit about the James Gunn announcements, and I've got some opinion about that. I can't say that I have a good enough opinion on it because, as you know, and as you are also a Marvel fan, I'm not that deep into the DCU lore or DC lore that James Gunn is looking to introduce. From what I've heard from people, it sounds amazing. I've just never read the comics. I've never been into those storylines. So James Gunn, he can't do any wrong, can he?
I mean, in the court of public opinion, he's done wrong multiple times.
Well, that's just people that don't have a sense of humor, right?
I don't know. That's a very Tim Allen opinion of you there. Speaking of the Flash, I mean,
oh man. But so let's go into the DCEU, which is now almost R.I.P. I believe it's going to get reset once the Flash movie comes out, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But what kicked us all off? It was Man of Steel, right? What did you think of Man of Steel?
I liked it. I thought it was a great reintroduction. Kevin Costner as James Kent won the day for me. I was just like, I mean, yeah, sold on Kevin Costner as a young James Kent. There wasn't an old James Kent because they killed him, which was not comic aligned. But I mean, Kevin Costner could do no wrong to me. So I loved that part of it. I love that they touched on some of the human portions of what Clark would have been dealing with from the hearing all the voices and the things and, you know, not being able to actually use his powers and stuff. I thought it was okay. And Amy Adams as Lois Lane, I was actually on board with.
James Kent? Was that like a
His
singer
dad
from the Jonathan Kent?
Oh, whatever. J Kent. J period Kent.
I was like, who the fuck? Like, I swear to God, James Kent is like a 1970s singer or something like that.
I mean, maybe I'm in the wrong. 70s.
But yeah, so I walked out of that movie, and I believe I text my friend who's a big Superman fan that this might be the best comic book movie that's ever been done. And I think, you know, looking back at it, those were some pretty strong words because there's a very high degree of hate on that movie. And I think I was a little bit premature. I think it was just one of the gut reactions that I had because I was always used to seeing the kind of campy Christopher Reeve Superman movies. And I got a chance to see Superman really kick ass and be more of a serious tone. And the thing that really wowed me, and we talked about this on our DCEU rankings, was Krypton. You got a chance to see Krypton, and then, you know, Superman's parents kick some shit out of some other aliens. You know, just like it was pretty cool, But Russell Crowe as Jor-El, awesome.
I mean,
freaking
Marlon
awesome.
Brando, though. How do you follow Brando?
You follow him up with Russell Crowe, where Russell Crowe looked the part, and he was able to be an ass kicker, but also a stoic parent that's doing a noble thing. And yeah, I liked it. I did think it was a little bit strange that there was so much destruction in the entire town, and I was thinking like, Superman's gonna have to fix this town up after he's done beating the shit out of Zod and everyone else.
Yeah,
you know, it was destructive for
collateral
sure.
damage there. But no,
Yeah.
Superman didn't have to pay for it. Turns out Bruce Wayne did. But what I'll say is, I draw a very tight parallel to the approach on Man of Steel to the approach of introducing Daniel Craig as James Bond in Casino Royale. It brought more of a like hard line real to it, right? It
Yeah.
wasn't as soft anymore. It was real and dirty and sweaty and in your face, and there was like actual violence and consequences, and not just campy ha 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 ha. We finally got rid of the memory of Roger Moore, and I think in this case we've gotten past what was, oh gee golly, Lois. We moved past it, which I think is great.
Then we go right into Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Or as
Now,
I like to refer to it, Martha.
yeah, Martha, the fantastic line of dialogue.
BB
You always love talking about the writing in movies, and so I'm sure that you have quite a qualm about
Yeah,
this
BVS, the Martha story.
I thought I was super excited to see the movie, and the trailers looked really awesome. And I will say, I actually liked it. I do have a lot of problems with it, but I did like it. Big reason is Affleck is Batman and Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman. So that was like a big thing for me where, the intro Wonder Woman was bad ass. And it made me like Wonder Woman. And to this day, it's my wife's ringtone. Whenever she calls, she's got the Wonder Woman theme just ripping on the phone. And so I just kind of listen to it.
Oh, you
it's
have
just
a
fun.
ringtone still.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have a ringtone. It doesn't ring a whole lot because it's always just on silent or vibrate.
It made me think of that meme, like you used to spend hundreds of dollars on ringtones and make sure that you had an up-to-date one all the time, and now your phone is on silent 96% of the time.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
I love it. We're getting
But
old.
I did like the movie. I actually did like it, but yes, there are some big problems.
I liked that they ripped the Frank Miller source material. I liked that they showed Batman getting ripped. I loved Jeremy Irons as Alfred, hugely underappreciated. I loved Batman's slick digs. The house was awesome, just to show how far he's come from the Wayne Manor situation. Like, I really, really liked it. And then the Martha thing happened, and I was just like, are you kidding?
I mean, that wasn't the only thing that happened. You've got the Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor,
Yeah,
which I wasn't.
He also annoyed the piss out of me. Zuckerberg bothered me too.
Yeah, he didn't bother me as much if I would have just forgot Kevin Spacey is Lex Luthor, or even Gene Hackman is Lex Luthor. Those are two great actors that played it perfectly, and he was fine.
The thing for me is they tried to smush every popular DC series into one movie. They did Frank Miller. Then they went over and did Death of Superman and Doomsday. And they didn't find a common thread to actually. Doomsday wasn't a clone of Zod. Like,
Doomsday also wasn't like 30 feet tall and 5 million pounds.
He wasn't the Lizard.
Yeah.
It's all
the
of
Abomination. He looked
yeah.
more like the Abomination than the Abomination did in the Incredible Hulk.
That's very true, because he looked too much like Tim Roth. I wanted to call him Honey Bunny. But I think that, or Mr. Orange, but he wasn't orange. I think that they try to mix too much. You just are mixing too much together there, and that gumbo did not come out tasting good. And that's where they lost me, the end half of it. And then for some reason, they bring Lex Luthor to a boat with Deathstroke at the end. And I'm like, I mean, I don't mind Sofia Vergara's husband, but come on. Why do you need so many things?
because they
Stop.
need to play catch up with Marvel.
But the
That's why.
thing is, that's not how you beat them. You don't run, you don't try and play catch up because then you run out of gas. That's their problem. And that's where this all started. They started to second guess and dick measure and all this other stuff. They rushed Suicide Squad, which was the next movie that came out.
You mean the worst movie that came out?
I liked it better than BVS.
Oh God, I despise Suicide Squad. Ugh.
Had you ever heard of Captain Boomerang before that?
No.
No, me neither. Me neither. I'm like, who the fuck are you? I loved to see Killer Croc because he was a favorite from the Batman the Animated Series, which is still the best Batman ever. But I dug Harley. You got Margot Robbie from that movie, so you can't be that upset.
She was a good Harley Quinn, but once again, I think it's not as great as as other people think it was.
I didn't
It was
think it
very
was
good.
great, but I thought it was watchable. Batman versus
Oh,
Superman, the back
I
end
was
of that
just talking
movie.
about Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
Oh,
That's the only thing. Like she was good. That movie sucked.
no,
The
I didn't
big
think
one.
so. I
Oh
didn't
my
think so.
gosh.
What was
You
your
got
least favorite part of the movie?
uh I like Ike Barinholtz, but his humor seems so shoehorned in to make this like funny, ha,
Yeah.
like almost let's try and be a Marvel team up movie. And it just wasn't good. Colonel Rick Flag right there over my shoulder. Once again, an awful character. And Dr. June Moon, Cara Delevingne, I shit on
There's a reason
that
Cara Delevingne
performance.
doesn't act much.
Yeah.
Um,
But whoever did the casting of this movie should be fired, should never get another job again because they picked the worst people. I really think they did. Now, James Gunn happened to salvage some of those picks, some of them, but yeah.
I
Uh,
think that you can. I would say that it is about as good as any sci-fi origin story movie is. Like the first entry, the first swing through something that's hard. Like it's not Guardians, but it's better than episode one.
mm,
I mean, I feel like I don't know. My biggest problem was Will Smith.
I there's a few. I'm not a big Will Smith fan. This is all. I am an OG, not a Will Smith fan. This is pre-slap. I am. I don't like his over the topness a
See,
lot of the times.
I'm a big fan of the Fresh Prince. I liked Bad Boys. I even liked Hitch and some of those movies, right? Independence Day was great, but not this movie. He's not dark enough to play that character. Not
He doesn't need to be Will Smith in every movie.
right.
That's his issue.
Yeah, that's true. He just doesn't have the ability to play a down and dirty character, in my opinion. He's
Yeah.
too much of a good guy to play a bad guy. He's not like Travolta-esque where he can go into Vincent Vega or into Castor Troy that looks like John Travolta and actually be a bad guy. That role needed somebody who was you know it needed Idris Elba is what it needed, but James Gunn fixed that.
Yeah.
I just feel like that casting choice is probably the thing that killed it the worst. I was going to say that the next movie that was released paired a great star and a great director.
That's Wonder Woman. Patty
Patty
Jenkins.
Jenkins, oof, killed it. Like
Yeah.
approached this movie in it's one of the most perfect superhero movies I've ever seen.
I won't say that because that third act was pretty awful with Ares. It just I thought that was just the biggest piece of shit.
I don't
I like the movie. I love the movie actually, but that was super disappointing. Like for those people that get upset about Marvel movies where it's like, oh, here comes a big CGI third act or boss battle. Uh, this one was pretty rough for me.
I think I don't know. I think that the movie stood well,
It did.
especially compared to everything else that was coming out at the time. Thor: Dark World. I think that it was really strong.
Yeah, it was good. And by the
Yeah,
way, I like Thor: The Dark World. I liked it.
I bet you do.
I do. Chris Hemsworth can do no wrong.
You did very wrong until it got retconned.
Well, let's take that easy because you know, it wasn't very wrong. You know what was very wrong? The next movie on our list chronologically, and that's Justice League. You know, at that point in time, Joss Whedon was still loved for the Avengers. And looking back at the Avengers movies, I wasn't that big of a fan. And
We
I
were
don't
at the
think
time because we never saw anything like that. But
right,
now
right,
looking back after the Russo brothers get the toys or the
yeah,
really good people get the toys, you're like, wow, you sucked.
yeah,
It's the equivalent of like watching like high school baseball and thinking that it's amazing and then going to see like the ball come out of a major league pitcher's hands. You're like, oh God, oh, this is different.
it was certainly rushed. The movie was rushed, and I would say that it has to be Whedon, right? Whedon and the WB.
I feel like the producers at Warner just fucked this whole thing up. I feel like they went without a North Star where Marvel had Kevin Feige and Stan to really shepherd it through. Like, not that Stan was hugely active, but I feel like Disney allowed one person to own it. Bob Iger allowed one person to own it. Glory be to Iger. But the Warner Brothers and DC leadership were constantly in flux during this period. Like the person running DC was always changing, and the person running Warner was changing. I mean, I feel like it's a systemic company issue that then led to, you know, fans not being happy. How many different iterations of the DC universe were there in comics as well? Right? Like New 52 and all that other shit.
Yeah,
It's been chaotic. And I think this was the time of the most chaos around Justice League. And it showed. It showed because they had the ability to go out there and get amazing Hollywood talent like Ben Affleck. I can't believe I'm saying that in the same sentence.
he is awesome.
I'm praising Shannon Hamilton here. But the proprietor of Casual Mail or
Yes,
Fashionable Mail, my fault.
fashionable male. Fashionable male. That's
Fashionable Mail. But you know, then they put him in a really uncomfortable place and he left to not direct a Batman movie he was going to be in.
What, like the back of Volkswagen?
Something like that. But I cannot believe that they fucked it up. Ben Affleck, legit Batman fan, legit at the time coming off Argo, like gonna be heralded, whatever you do. Now, we're gonna be dicks. You don't need to direct. We're gonna push back because we know best. You saw Suicide Squad, and then they shit the bed on it, right? And it's just why would you it makes no sense.
Well, we're jumping around a little bit. Let's just power through because there's really not much to
the
say.
Batman movie was supposed to come fairly soon after Justice League,
right? But what we got was
what we
Jason
got.
Momoa and Aquaman.
No problems with Jason Momoa, by the way.
I have a little problem with his broness
I love his broness
character.
I talk about the absolute opposite of every Aquaman we've ever seen in like the Super Friends and stuff like that. Like blonde-haired white guy in an orange suit to broed up, busted out Jason Momoa, who can't put a shirt on to save his life. The only problem is we get fucking Amber Heard, who not a great actress anyway. Amber Heard in her crazy mermaid hair. And I love Willem Dafoe. I don't know what he brought to this movie.
Willem Dafoe.
He looked like a sick fish.
I mean,
like Blinky.
He is up there in age, and he was never like the most attractive
That's
of
what
men.
don't take Willem Dafoe's shirt off. Put more clothes on him. Layers, people.
But I did enjoy. I mean, you enjoyed Tamura Morrison, and
That's
I enjoyed Nicole Kidman. So
I was like, they at least they're like, oh shit, we let Ben Affleck go. Who can we get to be Aquaman's parents? Now, the options for you have to find somebody with some island blood, right? Because Jason Momoa is you know, he's his last
not
name
from an island.
What?
I don't know. Is it? I'm just kidding. Okay.
Like, so
I think he's Hawaiian, right? Or he's from Hawaii.
He's something like that. Yeah. No, he does a lot of rowing and stuff, right? A lot of surfing going on there. Originally on Baywatch, if you didn't know,
Yeah.
early credit, doesn't look anything like he used to. But I love Tamora Morrison. Tamora Morrison to me, put him in everything because that's a guy who was not an actor. He's just a dude.
Sounds very up WB's alley. Just to
George Lucas did it first.
yeah.
I'll take Jango Fett in Jango and Boba Fett in anything.
Well, would you take a Zachary Levi, who was formerly in the MCU as one of the Warriors 3 in Shazam, which was the next release?
Honestly, I didn't see Shazam until probably a year or two after it came out.
Oh yeah, me too.
I did not see it until I was at home, probably during COVID. And I was completely blindsided by how good it was.
It was good.
I enjoyed it a lot. And I think the reason I enjoyed Black Adam is because I remembered enjoying Shazam.
Do you feel like you enjoyed it just because the other movies were bad?
I think I enjoyed it because they gave the movie a completely different tone and tried to make it like a Thor movie. Like they tried to make it Ragnarok-y. They succeeded. They tried to capitalize on the Deadpool feel to movies, right? Like we can be funny. That not everything has to be, I'm missing a zombie in my blood, and I'm gonna make they can be kind of funny, and it's okay. And I liked that about Shazam because it's a absolutely ridiculous concept that you just say Shazam. I mean, you say Shazam to me. I remember the Simpsons episode where he's remembering the Gomer Pyle thing. It's Shazam. That's what I remember. And I always thought the character was stupid as hell anyway. Never picked up that comic because I'm like, really? You say Shazam. That's nothing. This is dumb. And it broke me of that because I enjoyed it. And again, Zachary Levi owned it. Owned it. And the kid who was in the movie owned it too. Like both of them were great.
Yeah. I would say that was a nice breath of fresh air compared to the serious stuff that was coming out. And I liked some of the other movies. It was just like after Justice League, and I thought Aquaman was a big steaming pile of turd. I was like, okay, I'll give this a shot. I saw it on HBO Max. I was like, okay, not bad.
And then we're talk about a steaming pile of crap. Let's talk about Birds of Prey.
I think it's an underrated movie. And the fact that you've got Ewan McGregor, and I did really like Margot Robbie's performance in this. I thought it was a good movie. And yeah, I liked it. I
watched it weekend of streaming release because it came out, in COVID and stuff like that. And I couldn't get through it. Like I fell asleep multiple times. Given I had a newborn at home, it was in like month 1 of newbornness where you're not getting a lot of sleep. But I was watching other things. And this movie, I tried to watch it like 3 or 4 separate times. And I just couldn't. It did not do it. It didn't do it.
Fair enough.
And I was excited for it because I enjoy Harley, both Margot Robbie in the role and just Harley the character from all of my years of love in Batman the Animated Series, which I did watch during COVID in its completion. That was my then go-to Saturday morning cartoon to put on while I was like feeding my son and stuff like that. So,
And you didn't like
and I
Ewan
did like,
McGregor in it, or like the movie better because Ewan McGregor was in it?
I mean, Ewan McGregor can do no wrong, you know that. But in general, I was just not bought into the movie. It just was too much. She just they made me feel crazier than Harley is supposed to be. If that makes any sense.
No, because she is batshit crazy.
Yeah, but they made the movie so manic that I was just like, I don't have time. I don't have no, just stop. Like I needed Ritalin to watch the movie. And I
See, I
did
think I
not have
like
any
that.
readily available.
It seemed more comic-ish to me, and that's why I liked it. And I like Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I thought her character was awesome, and I like her in a lot of other movies and performances that she's done. Journey Journey Smollett, not bad either. I'm not like a huge fan of hers, but I thought she did a very good job in the role. And the little girl, Ella J. Bosco, I think it is Basco. I don't know if that's like a relative to Rufio, because I think that's his last name too. I'm not sure if they're related
I
at all,
love that
but
you just pulled the hook out.
that guy is he's Filipino, and
That
so I
guy's
figured
also
like
like 50 right now. It could be
he
his
is.
daughter, bro.
It might be. Hold on, I very rarely pull out the Google. She's the niece of the actor Dante Bosco. So okay, cool, good for her. Good for her.
Uh,
But yeah, we can move on. I'm just I think that is fair to say that that is the most polarizing movie between us. I think I really liked it, and you definitely did not.
so far.
So, um, Wonder Woman 1984 was the next one. This is another release that came out during COVID. I know I watched it opening day
Yeah,
when
I
it
paid to
was
watch it.
released.
Didn't you have to pay to watch it? I don't remember.
No, I don't think you. I don't think you had to pay. You just had to subscribe to HBO Max. If I'm
This movie could have been so much better if they didn't take the CGI on Kristen Wiig so seriously. Like
yeah,
I needed, I was my and if you ignored the fact that Gal Gadot was boning a rando that she perceived to be Chris Pine, like
she catfished herself. She basically
no, I'm
catfished
not
herself.
kidding. Some dude had the absolute best week.
Yeah.
And he will never, I don't know if he remembers it or not, or what the consequences are there. Like, I don't even know. But like some dude had an awesome week.
Yeah, she totally pulled the super bad. Like, are you Jimmy? You look like his brother. You do. And then just like ends up nailing him for
It was definitely yeah that just that piece of the storyline. I was like, they creepy.
I dig the 80s and I really liked Wonder Woman. And so I was thinking, like, you put those together, we're gonna have an amazing movie. And not so
The
much.
ancillary 80s things were great. The fact that she needed to see a psychotherapist also was very 80s, but she didn't. Um, I was like, that was where I was like, Patty Jenkins, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like the opening scene in the mall with the lasso and the winking and all that was amazing. The action scenes, except for the suit with the wings, was amazing. The
A
fact that
suit with wings can work.
whatever.
You just have to be a part of a Marvel property. That's all.
Touche. The fact that Linda Carter made an appearance, like all of that was amazing to me. Until just the Steve Trevor aspect of it was bad. I loved his members only jacket, but like I love the so much about it, but just that part just weirded me out. It's like you're in denial, and now it's getting really bad.
I won't say that I hated the movie, but I was definitely disappointed after watching it.
Considering everything else that was out at the time, it was great. It was solid. Like, love to see it. It was a great return to getting a superhero movie. I know you loved it more than Black Widow, but I just was, yeah, the weirdness there. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Debatable on the Black Widow part. Like I think I did see Black Widow more than Wonder Woman 84. I think I did do a repeat viewing of Black Widow, maybe even
I
two and a
haven't
half.
watched Wonder Woman 84 again.
Yeah, no, I haven't. It was the one time, and then that was it.
I've watched Jungle Cruise more than I've watched 1984.
Yikes! And I wanted to like that movie too, Jungle
Oh,
Cruise.
I loved it. I loved it.
You know something I didn't love? The next movie on this list. You want to know why? Because Zack Snyder's Justice League is too goddamn long.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion. All of the slow-mo to it just made it better, in my opinion. Better than the original Justice League. I got to see some different things. They actually built out the cyborg character
Yeah.
a little bit more. I liked that they used the battle at the end was so infinitely times better.
Yeah,
Um,
it was.
so I think there were improvements made. Yes, there was a lot there. There was a lot of time, but you know what we had a lot of in early 2021 time. So I didn't
You know
mind it.
what though? Like I watched it and I thought it was all right. I liked it and it definitely was an improvement, but not enough an improvement for me to watch it again. And I really don't think
It's
I
one of
will
those movies
touch
that you only pull out like every
10
6 to
years.
10 years. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
If that's the case, that's not a good movie. It's not a good movie. I don't know, man. I once again I stand by my own personal algorithm of like if it's a good movie, you would watch it, once every
but who has that
1 or 2
time?
years. Exactly. That's the reasoning as to why is because you know what? Like people watched other movies that were that length, like Ben-Hur, for example. I've seen Ben-Hur, and I don't even like old movies. I've seen Ben-Hur more than I'll ever watch Zack Snyder's Justice League. And that's about religion, man. And I'm not even a big fan of religion. God's sake. And I guess, Justice Leagues, there are some religious parallels in there too. Um, but yeah, I'll watch Charlton Heston and Ben-Hur over Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Would I have a very serious question about this. I think of Ben-Hur and I think of the two VCR tapes that it used to be on, the two cassettes that used to be on. I think of Titanic and the two cassettes. I think of Magnolia and the two cassettes. How many cassettes would Snyder League be? I think it would be a triple.
Yeah, it's 4 hours. So it's two.
I think DC would have made it a triple just to fuck with people.
It's just VHS. If that was the case, they would bring out like Laserdisc again. Like get the new Laserdisc with Zack Snyder's Justice League on there.
6 discs.
Yeah.
Um yeah,
And
I didn't mind this, but
one of the discs would be just the slow-mo intro to get to the DVD menu. Just
insert next disc. Son of a bitch.
You can't get through a scene without
No.
inserting another disc.
I've got to say that the other thing that I really liked about this movie, it was one of the first movies that came out simply because of fan influence. And
Yeah.
it really dictated, it started a trend because we've started to see it from Disney now too, right? We're getting Deadpool and Wolverine. They're adding more seasons of shows that were supposed to be one and done in the Star Wars universe. We got the Obi-Wan show. Like all of this stuff, they're starting to listen to the fans. And I'm excited about that, but also I really wish it was better. It's not bad.
You know what they also did for the fans? Sony re-released Morbius into theaters for the fans. They were so dense that they re-released that movie into theaters because it was just trending because everyone was saying how awesome it was. And Sony, you're a big pile of shit for
I
even
mean, wasn't
thinking
that
that
about
would work.
about the same time that GameStop stock went over $100?
Well, yeah. I mean, uh, they really banked on that. But the
Yeah,
the
no,
kicker is,
you and I, not us, buddy,
yeah.
not us.
But Jared Leto is another person that bought into his own hype of like reading a script that said it's Morbin time on the script. Like, Jesus Christ, you fell for it, you dumb bastard.
No, what Jared Leto did was look at the zeros on the check and say, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but it didn't make any money. It made zero
He didn't
money.
get back end money for that. You
Eight
think he was dumb
people.
enough to take back end? He took that money in front.
I don't know. I don't know. I think he's so full of himself that, oh, I'm going to get in on this trend, and it's going to be awesome, and we're going to have an amazing re-release. Like, get out of here. Uh, uh. But let's stop talking about sad, depressing failures.
Hang on. Jared Leto made $21 million from that movie.
I'm talking about from the like whether it's a TikTok or Instagram clip that he was holding a script that said it's Morbin time.
Yeah, I know.
Because
I'm saying that he did
that's
the movie for the bucks. The entire budget of the movie was 75 million and Jared Leto got 21 of it. I love it. I love it.
Sony. Get out. This is why I
Oh,
will not buy Sony stock, because they'll they'll pull like stupid moves like this.
I mean, or Sony TVs.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not since a Discman have I owned anything Sony.
But Sony, if you want to hook me up with a PlayStation 5, I'm your guy. I will strictly play PlayStation 5 if you hook me up with one. So Sony, if you're listening, big fan
Pass.
of PlayStation.
Pass. I'm gonna play all those same games on my Steam Deck and pass on the PlayStation 5.
Well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass on to arguably the best movie in the DCEU, and that is James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Amazing. Awesome. That's all I can say. I won't even go into detail. It's good. It's great. Grand. Wonderful.
Haven't rewatched it.
You're missing out, man.
That middle scene didn't get me. The middle of the movie was a little gummy for me.
So there are a few instances that you have said some comments like that, and I'm curious as to if you truly give some of these movies the shot, because I know you said you tried watching Birds of Prey 4 separate times. One of the other episodes we were talking about Wakanda Forever, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and you just remember that movie very differently. So if you have not watched that movie again, I urge you to watch it again, because I bet that you would just automatically think like, yeah, this is way better than I remember. I really think so, because Suicide Squad, David Ayer, was such horseshit.
Oh,
When you watch,
this was way better than that. But I compare like this. I expected Guardians of the Galaxy, and it was not that.
what's better than this in the DCEU?
I mean, it's
Besides Wonder Woman. I'll take Wonder Woman.
Yeah. I mean, Wonder Woman, Man of Steel.
Hmm.
The early stuff. But
I liked
honestly,
Man of Steel. I wouldn't say that it was better than the Suicide Squad.
I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. It was good. It wasn't a none of these have been like poster movies for me. None of these am I like, I need to buy this. I'm like, I'm glad that was free to stream. Thank you. Thank
And
you,
maybe
Warner Brothers.
Maybe that has something to do with the reason why we don't necessarily like some of the movies, is that we're watching it at home.
I don't know. I got a sweet setup.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
maybe
like,
we can
once
get DC to re-release the Suicide Squad in theaters if we yell it's Squad time.
Squad. Well, I want to venture off into not part of the DCEU, but it is a DC movie, and that is your favorite vampire, Robert Pattinson as the Batman.
Oh, you mean Vengeance?
Yes.
Vengeance. Are we skipping Joker?
Uh, we can talk about it. It wasn't on the list because I totally forgot about it. You know, it's not also, but yeah, let's talk about it.
So, Vengeance worked for me because of Joker. Joker was so out there, weird, and different that if it was on our list, it would be my favorite.
Mm.
De Niro, just the psycho-ness. It was borderline disturbing, which a movie about the Joker should be. And that I feel like stepped up the game again for the Batman to be what it turned out to be. For it to be as gritty and dirty and just raw as it was, you needed the Joker for that.
So I thought that was a very good movie. My big issue with it, or maybe not even issue, but my critique about it would be I don't even think they needed to have the Joker character as the forefront, meaning just call it something else. Call it like laughter, and the guy dresses up as like a clown or something like that. So it's not directly associated with the Joker in the DC comics or whatever universe that this is going to be placed in, right? I did like the tie-ins with Thomas Wayne.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. But that's the comic fan in me. But other than that, I don't think it was necessary to even have it remotely tied into a Joker character, which
It made triple the money it would have if it was just called Laughter.
sure. No, I get
And
it.
it
I get
wouldn't
that.
get a sequel.
I get that. But that's where, like I guess you could do this with any movie, right? If you, or even any Marvel movie, if you take Captain America out of it and you just retitle it something else, like, I don't know. I don't think it would work as well. But for this, for Joker, I think it could work where it's like you don't even need that same type of, comic reference for it to be successful. It's just a flat out good movie.
Yeah. I agree. I love the association with the crazy clown and that,
Yeah.
I mean, that Jack Nicholson is my favorite Joker for many reasons, but I love that they deviated from the acid bath story and just it was such a different feel than Suicide Squad or the Suicide Squad. From the laughter point of view, that it just worked for me. It just worked. And it was back to the Man of Steel feel where things were more consequential and real. We had gotten a little campy there in the middle, right? Aquaman and Shazam, and then Birds of Prey. Like we were almost back at the Clooney level of DC. This got us back. And that I think both I think is influencing what's going on next, as well as prepared us for that Chris Reeve movie or Matt Reeves movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So that movie, I did rewatch Joker, and I rewatched a little bit of the Batman. Coming out of the Batman, I was like, that was pretty good. I don't know if I'd watch it again, but it was pretty good because once again, pretty long movie, 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I liked the grittiness to it, right? And I think that's just like the only word that you can really describe that movie is just like it's just gritty.
Or Vengeance.
Yeah. But Robert Pattinson, just goddamn dude, just lift a little bit of weights, just work out. And thank the CGI team for making you look like you had muscles, because you certainly didn't. But just come on, man. Do a little bit of steroids. It's not going to kill you.
Hey, they fixed it. They gave you The Rock fairly soon after. They gave you the guy on steroids. It's okay.
He's never confirmed that that's the case.
He's
But
never denied either.
exactly. So until that,
Oh yeah,
innocent until proven
a
guilty, Mark.
60-year-old man that's that cut, not on some sort of steroid or a synthetic, um, testosterone. That makes no sense.
So let's just go ahead and talk about Black Adam. I think we both said that we can do that movie all day. Is that correct? I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure that you did.
I think I just like The Rock in it.
Yeah.
Dewey does good things.
It is kind of a Shazam-esque movie, except with a little bit more violence. And yeah,
And
I
a
liked
twist.
it. I mean, yeah, twist was good, and I was fine with it. I'll watch it again. Not at the top of my list, but I'll watch it again. But I do want to talk about not just one of the movies, but the TV show Peacemaker. Have you seen that yet?
No, you could not get me less excited about it.
Oh God, it's so funny. It's so good. It is exactly what you would want out of John Cena and that character.
John
It's
Cena and
just
that
so
character are what made me not like the Suicide Squad in the middle. It was
okay.
just no. I'm not a John Cena guy.
It's a very good ensemble cast. A lot of like really good acting, a lot of good group dynamic, and he has. I don't want to spoil it for you, but there's like a buddy that he has that's also a vigilante, if you will. I think his name is Vigilante, and he's just awesome. It's just a cool premise for the season, and there's a lot of humor. There's some vulgar language, and he has a pet eagle. Man, he's a pet eagle, and the T-1000's in it. The T-1000 is in it as his racist dad. So it's a good watch. I liked it. I had to actually hold my laughter in because I was watching it on a plane. I downloaded some of the episodes. I was watching it on the plane, and I was struggling to breathe with how funny it was. But
That sounds like it was pretty good.
yeah, and that kind of wraps up like obviously the movies and the TV show that came out for that. But so there are a few future DCEU releases, or at least DC releases that are still under the old regime, and that is The Flash. I'm sure you've got some thoughts about that.
I'm excited for it.
Have you heard the rumor that Grant Gustin, the resurfaced rumor that Grant Gustin is going to be replacing Ezra Miller as the Flash in the future iterations?
No, but I don't know who that is, nor do I care.
Oh, really?
I'm not emotionally attached to Ezra Miller or Grant Gustafson. I did think that the Snyder cut built out the character more. I'm just in it for my Batman.
Okay.
Michael Keaton. I'm excited to see a multiversal adventure. Honestly, I kind of don't understand it, so I'm hoping that I get something because I didn't read Flashpoint, so I'm kind of all over like I'm not understanding this. Nor did I watch the Flash TV show. I almost want to watch the Flashpoint cartoon because they show the Batman that's Thomas Wayne, which is like the fucking kill everybody Batman. I'm kind of stoked on, but haven't found the time for that yet. But again, you had me at Michael Keaton. And the big flappy wing drop in thing, like, let's go. Let's go. Poor guy, he still can't turn his neck, but let's go.
There was a rumor that Bale would be back as one of the iterations of Batman in this movie, which is would have been like the best kept secrets. I'm still kind of holding hope that would happen, but I don't think it's going to.
I heard they're going to bring Affleck in.
Affleck is in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're
There's
basically
another
gonna get Spider-Man from this, which I'm all about.
there is another Batman suit in it, which it's not confirmed that it's Affleck. And that's why I was thinking, like, oh my God, is that Bale? Because he's riding like a vehicle that's similar to the Bat Pod from The Dark Knight. And it would be awesome if it
No,
was,
you know
but
it
I
would
don't
be
think it
awesome
is.
if it was Clooney.
That's another rumor that was going around that it was Clooney, but
You know who
I
it's
would,
not? Val Kilmer.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that was mean. Or Adam West, which would have been even better, like possibly the best. I heard Kevin Conroy might have suited up for this pre
Mm,
passing away.
I did not hear that.
That would
Huh.
have been awesome.
But so you got the Flash that's going to be coming out. Shazam, Fury of the Gods. I'm
Not
not,
excited at all. Is that
yeah,
what you are? Love
not.
Zachary Levi. Love the characters. Don't want 12 Shazams. Don't need it. The one was perfect. And how are we not getting The Rock in this movie? Now that he's out, like,
Yeah,
how is that possible?
I,
So little confused. This movie, sadly, I think for me, is going to be watched in the same format as the previous Shazam, which is I'll get to it when I get to it.
what about Blue Beetle? Do you know who the hell Blue Beetle is?
No, no, I know Beetleborgs. That was a Saturday morning cartoon that I would see a movie of. But I am not familiar with the Blue Beetle. To my understanding, it is the first Hispanic a DC superhero, right?
I don't know if it's the first, but definitely in the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the movies.
But Blue Beetle, who the fuck is scared of a Blue Beetle? That's what I.
You know who is Decepticons? Transformers joke. That's another movie that's gonna have to wait for streaming.
I have to catch up on those movies.
No, you don't. Nope. No.
So
No. Watch the animated one. It's better.
Aquaman 2 is also another release. I believe that'll be the last release under the old
Yeah, Merry
regime.
Christmas at the end of the year.
Yeah,
Merry
2023.
Christmas. Except for the Mira has been recast, right?
Not confirmed. Not
Oh,
confirmed.
I
Let's
bet you.
talk a
I
little.
bet you that movie's gonna go over like a shit in Johnny Depp's bed.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the James Gunn upcoming slate of projects. So let's just kind of let's do like lightning rounds. We'll bring up the movie and just sum up our thoughts on it in 2 sentences or less. Uh, Superman Legacy.
Origin story better be realistic.
Don't know, don't care because it's not Henry Cavill. That's
We
my
don't know
thought.
who it is yet, so we can't be that mad.
I can definitely be mad because it's not
Who
Henry
would you
Cavill.
like to see in it?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm not sure. Some unknown. I'd rather see some unknown or someone that has barely some credits under their belts, so that way they can build and make a career off of this. I hope it's successful for them. I hope it is, but
What if it was
that's my
Elvis?
hmm?
The guy who played Elvis.
Nope. No. He'll still be talking in his southern
He
accent.
still is. He's every time is amazing. That guy was in Yoga Hosers.
All right. What about the Authority, which I have no idea
Yeah.
what that is?
2 words. Huh? What the question mark?
So this explanation or synopsis of the project: the Authority explores anti-heroes who have good intentions while having to go to extremes due to how broken the world is. So Suicide Squad, except with good guys.
No. Eh.
I mean, anti-heroes. I don't know if those guys in
It
Suicide
sounds
Squad were
like,
anti-heroes.
you know what it sounds like to me? Guardians of the Galaxy 4.
What about The Brave and the Bold? It's a Batman and Robin story.
It's a Batman and Damian Wayne story. So it's the Batman and third Robin, which, to the best of my knowledge, has never been harnessed mainstream in like a visual method, which I'm with. Like the Damian Wayne story is one that I'm not super familiar with, but I'm down for. It's one of those comic things that if I had to read a comic series or had the time to read a comic series, I'd read it. I'd love to get into it because instead of it being, Dick Grayson or Tim Drake, it's Batman's own kid that he's letting get out there. One, I don't know why Batman's kid's pissed off. But I'm down for it. I'm down for Batman's leadership capabilities or Batman as a mentor. I'm really down for Batman in general. And they can't use Pattinson because he's too young. I'm all about that too. So who can we get as Batman in this? The only thing I'd be more excited about is if they were doing Batman Beyond, which you just bring in Michael Keaton and you go from there.
I think Bale would be a better Batman Beyond. Just play him old. I really think that Bale would be a better mentor. I think you put Michael Keaton in that role, and he just looks exactly how he is. Super old, super not capable of kicking anyone's ass, and super not believable that he ever kicked anyone's ass. Bale, that's believable. I never thought Michael Keaton could kick anyone's ass. When I look at Batman and I feel like I could kick his ass, then there's a problem.
But you don't have these wonderful toys.
Yeah, I wouldn't need them because Michael Keaton is maybe like 5'8", and yeah, pretty sure.
So it sounds like we're in. It sounds like we're in for
Brave and the Bold. Unfortunately, I'm sure I'll be interested in seeing it, but right now, at this moment, don't know, don't care. Until I hear more about who's cast, I have no interest in this movie whatsoever.
I'm more into this than the next one that they announced, which is Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I don't think I could care less about a DC character than I care about Supergirl.
I'm just a little bit confused with the title. Like, why call it Woman of Tomorrow?
I don't know, but I don't care about Supergirl at all.
I would be more interested in that than the Batman Brave and the Bold and the Restless. So
I did like the comic run that was in the mid to late 90s, and it was Superboy, which was a genetically created character from when Superman died, and he didn't have like Superman powers. He had like a telekinesis power that he used. I would be down for that. I'd give two shits about Supergirl.
Cool. Swamp Thing, do you care?
More than Supergirl.
I do not care.
Supergirl. This is a direct response to Marvel doing Man Thing. I forget what it's. Yeah, it's a direct response.
And now we've got TV shows, which I will say, without completely really reading into the synopses of these things, I will go on a limb and say I don't care about any of them. But let's take a look at them. All right, Creature Commandos.
It's got your boy Rick Flag Sr., but it also has Weasel. So
does it really?
Yeah, it has Weasel. For some reason, Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein are in this. I think they're just like trying to dump out the bottom of the barrel and use all the characters. Never heard of it. Don't care. Waller, where they follow Viola Davis around. Let's go. Viola Davis in that as that character. Bad fucking ass.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'll take it all day.
I stand corrected.
Lanterns. That sounds really possibly terrible. While I don't mind the characters or the comic or the premise of the Lantern Squad, you got a lot of splaining to do.
It's a detective mystery. You know what you would love it. By the way, I don't know if you saw one of the Instagram story posts that I had. There was like Murder She Wrote, like all the different seasons for like $1 in VHS for at a garage sale or something. But yeah, I know you love your murder mysteries. Well, here's a detective mystery, which I'm assuming that there's some murder in there too. But I don't need mystery for my superheroes. If there is a mystery, let Batman take care of it. Not a guy with a fucking ring that can just basically wish the murderer to come out and then he could just beat the hell out of him. Don't care.
Yeah. Paradise Lost. How do you feel about background on Teramiskra or Thermiska? I can't say it.
Themyscira?
Yeah, that one.
You know what? If they get a whole bunch of like CrossFit looking Amazons in it, I appreciate their physical form, and like I just, that would be cool to me just to be able to see that. So because I liked my favorite scene out of Justice League was on Themyscira. That was freaking awesome. And just to see a little bit of backstory for that and like a full cast and a little bit more growth on the different characters, I would buy into it. That'd be cool. Although I don't know if I'd be tuning in all the time. I think I would wait for the entire season to come out and then binge it.
Unless it's really amazing. Still haven't watched Last of Us because I'm gonna binge that.
I'm gonna wait, yeah.
I love that they describe it as a Game of Thrones style. I'm like, there'd be a lot of tits and killing in this. What the fuck? What are you doing here? Like, that was Game of Thrones every season. Tits and killing. So it sounded like by your description, you're gonna be really excited about this show.
Let's go.
Every week for Dan.
Yeah. Like, honey, dinner's ready. I'm not hungry.
Tits and murder. I'm busy.
And then the next TV show, Booster Gold. This sounds awesome.
Is it a show about a customizable card game?
A tech superhero with imposter syndrome. Sorry, I fell asleep. Whatever.
I was watching YouTube videos of people opening old Pokemon cards, and I was more excited, even though I have no interest in Pokemon cards. Some of them are worth money, apparently, which would excite me more than whatever the hell this is going to be.
If there are some DC fans out there, I would love to hear your opinions. Please chime in on socials or DM us on the Instagram.
There's or DC fans?
Hey, if these do well, that means more comic stuff will be made. So I'm okay with that. But yeah, man, I
think that we want Marvel to do well, so more Marvel stuff gets made.
Yeah, I'll take DC stuff as if it revolves around the characters that are interesting. Or if, you know what, if James Gunn can pull off a freaking miracle and have a similar audience reaction to the Guardians, then you know what? Okay, no problem. I've got faith in him, but that seems like a tall order for all of these different projects because the majority of these people have no idea who the hell they are. And I hope it does well, but I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't. Just because of the recognition,
Yeah, no, for me it's sink or sink slower. What would excite me is if they started making Image comic movies. You remember Image comics?
Didn't they do that with Spawn and then that didn't do anything?
Dude, that Spawn movie was fucking amazing. We need to get
so
some
amazing
Exo Man of War in that bitch. What?
So amazing it didn't come out with a sequel.
That had a lot to do with licensing and the studios and stuff. Come on. McFarlane doesn't want to see it again. That guy Luckily, that guy was Spider-Man rich, came up with his own comic, and has basically told everybody to F off. He's too busy making figures.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think that wraps up our little DC catch up, or just kind of a rundown of things that we think about. I do look forward to seeing something from James Gunn. I don't know what exactly, but the Waller show, and then maybe the Supergirl, and then maybe the Superman thing. But I don't know. If anyone's going to make me care about the DC Comics characters, it could be James Gunn.
I care about Batman. I care about Superman. I just think their movies sucked. Or I'm not excited to see that. Like, give me the comics to read. Give me comic accurate material, and it'll be good. That's what Marvel did, and it's good. The stories in the books are great. Do the actual Bane story. Oh my God. Do Nightfall. It will do amazing. You could do a 3-movie arc of Nightfall, and it would be amazing. Do the last joke. Do the Joker one where he shoots Barbara Gordon. Make that into a movie. Like, there's so much, and they've wasted it all on animated stuff. And I haven't watched the animated movies. That's on me. Normally I'm into cartoons, but they have to be about Star Wars.
The animated ones are actually way better than the live action, I would say. It's pretty good.
Why am I not shocked?
It's better than Marvel cartoons for sure too, and that's I care about the Marvel characters better. Yeah.
Better than What If?
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Maybe we should review a DC cartoon.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Comment. What should we? Which one? Where do we start?
I do want to give a shout out to a few people. So, Anna on the Instagram chiming in after a few of our tasty morsel clips. Thank you very much. And then also Disney Desi, who is she actually did a few Star Wars rankings on previous, or not previous podcasts, but Disney's. I'm sorry. Fuck. Hold on. Let me redo that. So I probably should have said something like, we should just start shouting out people who interact. So all right. Before we go, I do want to give a shout out to a few of our listeners. We've got Anna. Thank you very much for commenting on some of the tasty morsels, especially on the Twilight episode, and then also the rom-com episode. Thank you very much. And then also a special shout out to Disney Desi, who had reached out to us about a Star Wars ranking that she did, and she actually checked out our episode of the Star Wars ranking. So a really cool back and forth, and really great insight into Star Wars. So thank you very much to Disney Desi. And for anyone else out there who's commented, also Amanda, who's always the number one fan, or at least one of the number one fans. I can't forget about my significant other, but yeah, thanks for commenting, and we do appreciate all the support. We hope more listeners will chime in on our socials, and we'll give you a shout out on the podcast. And who knows, maybe we might even have you on as a guest. But until next time, I'm Dan, the part-time Avenger. That's Mark, the resident Jedi.
Like, subscribe, comment, follow Disney Desi. She's awesome. More interactions maybe to come.